time, we had basically NT, and that was it, and Prism for last year's class. Barnes, Giddy, Cunningham, Moody, Kaminga, Wiseman, all the way down. Now you're starting to see the releases trickle in. They get graded, and they hit auction. Are you, one, seeing that too? And two, what happens when that plays itself out? I know you don't look at modern NBA. It's kind of a leading question because
I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there. I mean, I think what you're already seeing happen now, this stuff that is getting graded and is coming back, is the prices for those things are all coming down. There were only two options, and I saw a really nice post about Josh Giddey's National Treasure, comparing it to like what Tim Duncan's best rookie cards sell for. And you're like, would you really buy this? Like, why does it make sense? It was one of those, like, anti-ultra modern posts, which you don't have to be. I'm not trying to be that. But that also, I mean, it's a valid point, right? It's sort of like the same thing said differently that you mentioned with Anthony Edwards when his silver wasn't graded, right? When his base cards weren't graded because you just couldn't, you'd have the ability to grade them, and their population on those things were deflated. They were being held down because people just didn't have them. And what you said was going to happen, and it did, was that as the pop increases on those, the price was going to come down because, even if the demand remained the same, the amount of supply was going up. So that makes the price go down. And Edwards is a great example of not only the supply going up, but demand going down. So same thing will happen here.
Second question, and we'll get into the auctions.
Yep.
In 3 years, Klay Thompson, cardboard relevant or no?
I'd like to think yes, right? Because the push is going to have to come to shove on Klay pretty soon, right? He's one of those guys that, was borderline top 75 player of all time in his own mind. If you remember, they announced that was big news stories. One of these like, oh man, Klay is mad, that he didn't get in the top 75. I think now he probably
just literally brought that up like 20 times. Klay had one interview about it, and he's not that mad. Continue. Yeah. Jesus, you're annoying me today.
The point being is that, here's a guy who went from making an argument, even in one interview, that he was a top 75 player, to you asking a question about whether he's ever going to be cardboard relevant in 3 years. So it's a valid thing. I mean, I think it really depends on, is he limited now because he still isn't fully recovered from his injury? And can he get back to playing at a level that was one where he could argue that he was one of the best 75 or 100 players to ever play the game? If you think he's going to, then sure, he'll be called relevant. If you don't, I think it takes away from some of his legacy, some of his ability to argue that he was part or a major part of the reason for these championships in Golden State. For some of them, he was the third or fourth best player on the team. Usually those are not people who remain cardboard relevant.
Kyrie cardboard relevant in 3 years?
The thing is with Klay, he could get traded. Like that team, I hear their name come up in a lot of trades, and they, what are they going to do? They trade Wiseman now, Kaminga, trade these guys who nobody really wants anymore because teams giving up on him. But Klay moving to like a Dallas and then having a resurgence at the end of his career, maybe winning one or two with a Luka, would make him cardboard relevant in 2 or 3 years. So, I don't want to say yes, no, because that could change it. If he remains on the path that he's on, no, he's not cardboard relevant. Who was your next one? Kyrie? No, Kyrie is like, he's like Ron Test.
Derrick Rose?
No, but Rose is one of those guys that there'll be conversations about Hall of Fame for Rose, believe it or not, sooner than later. I think he falls short, even though he had a little bit of a resurgence with the Knicks. People do have that conversation. But remember, it'll be the answer to that trivia question of the NBA MVP that didn't make the Hall of Fame. So,
Westbrook?
But I don't. Russell Westbrook.
In 3 years.
Same thing goes for him, right? I think after he leaves here, if he goes to a team that lets him do his thing and he puts up real numbers and maybe is like playing, playoff caliber basketball on another team, the narrative could switch on Russ that he was just in a toxic situation where they weren't taking him at his best. And he is a top 50 all-time player if he gets to do that, right? If he cements his legacy. I do believe Russell Westbrook is cardboard relevant. I know there are people out there who are diehard Westbrook collectors. I don't know many diehard Derrick Rose, Klay, or Kyrie collectors. So that kind of swings me towards yes.
So the reason I ask, and Cage, we'll go to the cards that you want to feature on this week's Weekly. Those guys are guys who had quite a bit of their cards graded. Derrick Rose doesn't have a lot of cards, but you see them in weekly auctions come up quite a bit. Really nice looking cards, and they're not going to break a bank. something to look at if any one of those 4 guys kind of caught your radar. That's why I brought all 4 of them up. Any cards you want to feature? I also have 2 more questions. We'll intertwine.
I thought you were going like, those are the guys who were the number 1 or 2 guys in their rookie class. Those were the guys who were like the studs who came out of college. They had all the hype around them. They've actually had some success in the NBA. Some win championships, some win MVPs, and yet their cardboard is, I don't want to call it irrelevant now, but definitely not as sought after as a Giddey who you raised. And, when you do that comparison, it's kind of like, here are players who are, I don't call them all-time greats, but greats of a generation, and people don't look for their cards. Think about that. But so it's funny. That was
I wasn't going that route. I was going the route like, hey, if you're paying attention to weekly and you want to spend some money, but not a ton, you could get really cool cards of the 4 guys I mentioned, whether that's for yourself or as a gift.
You'll hear about it on Sunday night, my time at the card show and that kind of stuff in another episode. But what's funny is part of the reason I'm in a good mood today, right, is I love the PWCC weekly auction because there's something for everybody. And, part of the message, you guys can check my post if you like, about the cards that I picked up at the card show today. I spent like $5. It was an autographics card. Kelvin Cato, who, I remember coming out of Iowa State and, having some hype around them, the 15th draft pick, and autographics. It just, reminded me of collecting in the 90s. That set was one of those like game changer type of sets. And then Leapin' Lanny Poffo, an autograph I got from, as a wrestler. It's kind of like trip down memory lane while at the same time opening boxes of cards with Ian and that kind of stuff. You'll hear the whole story, this weekend. But it got me thinking about, like, there's a lot of craziness in the hobby, right? People calling each other names, people fighting with each other, all kinds of stuff. But there's a card out there that you'll enjoy. And the way that PWCC auction goes is no matter what your price range is, from $5 to, I think there's going to be cards that sell over 30,000 in this one. I mean, you got little LeBron, Chrome Refractor, PSA 10 in this one. There is something for everybody in this as we approach holiday season. There's definitely some fun gifts in here. There's also stuff that, I think it brings you back to your roots of collecting. It brings back to what got you in here to begin with. It's okay to flip. It's okay to be ultra modern. It's okay to do this stuff. But, there's something that, draws folks into collecting to be here for, a long time. That nostalgia, that tie back, that trip down memory lane. There's a few of them in my list here also, whether it's the Ichiro card that I'm going to spotlight or, Spider-Man comics, if that's your thing. I got a bunch of fun stuff to chat about. But yeah, there's some real cool stuff, real cool cards. You want me to pull one out? You want me to just, mention one? So one for you, man. All-time Topps Chrome card with great subgrades, premium Kobe in what I call a very down Kobe market. It's not just a down market overall, but a down Kobe. 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor Kobe Bryant rookie in a BGS 9.5 Gem Mint. You see this one? I mean, just a really, really nice Kobe. Not selling for what a PSA 10 would sell for, but also some would say a nicer copy than most of the 9s that are out there. Just a really nice Kobe's market, man. If you look at like the Kobe index or, you just look at like cards like this one or Kobe's other rookies, I mean, significant downslide on these cards. So lots of fun stuff on these cool cards. Yeah.
My question for you, I was going to ask. So I was talking to DPZ this weekend and he was looking at like a 1/1. I think it was a Topps Finest Superfractor, ended at like $15K. If you had $15,000, what Kobe card would you buy? Would you buy his Chrome rookie? Would you buy a rare 1/1? Or would you get a nice auto, like a flawless patch auto of Kobe?
So it's funny. Remember the Kobe that I bought, which was wrong, right? I bought the Topps 40th.
That wasn't wrong.
It had the Chrome, it had the Chrome look to it, but didn't have the greening that a lot of the refractors and a lot of the regular Chrome.
It wasn't wrong, Cage. You just didn't sell it at the peak. That ran up.
No, but why I say it's wrong is it's the wrong one to buy for him because I was thinking to myself, oh, this is a better one to buy than the Chrome, but it's not because everybody wanted the Chrome. I found myself telling stories about why this card was cool, and the less storytelling you have to do, the better. This card, I mean, I don't know. Right now we're talking about it's at $13,500. But if this card stays anywhere near this pricing, this is what I would put my $15,000 towards because the 10 is crazy expensive. This card is nice. I mean, it is a nice 9.5. It's got nice subgrades. When people think Kobe, right, there's a lot of autos out there of him, right? A lot of autos, a lot of patch autos for many, many years. It's very hard to get demand behind any specific one. You know what I mean? You have those like the flawless numbers kind of, like you have those. You have, there's a lot of like, patch autos. So I think, the demand will always swell behind the Topps Chrome rookie of him. So,
last sale was 32,000 according to Card Ladder on this guy, but it's hard to know the subs, right? Because the subs on this matter. Gorgeous subs, perfect centering on the front, not the best centering on the back, but does not matter. All right, go on. Ichiro?
Yeah. So, there's a really nice Ichiro. It's a Bowman Chrome Japan Gold refractor from 2001. Obviously, there's more of these kind of cards now with the the kanji script autos and the Japanese version of cards they do now. Back in 2001, there weren't as many, but obviously, Ichiro kind of took the league by storm when he came in, winning Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season with a historic season. He had like 250 something hits. And this is just, when you look at cards of him, it's a 2001 Bowman Chrome Japan Gold refractor out of 49 and BGS 9.5. That one there. Okay, so obviously, you see the same look in the PSA. It's the same type of card, right? Those are 9s. This is a gold refractor. It's numbered to 49. I mean, and it has that cool, because it's like the Japan gold refractor. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
are these signed? No, this is
no,
a facsimile.
It's a facsimile. Yeah, facsimile. But there are autos of him rookie, but this is basically like the Kobe. The Kobe we just looked at. Like if you want the rookie for Pujols or for Ichiro, this is the one that you go after. Obviously for Ichiro, the Japan one is a kind of cool.
The Japan versus the US, or is it no?
I wouldn't go for the Japan one for Pujols, but I would go for the Japan one for Ichiro because that's where he's from. But I just love that card. I mean, there's not that many of them. There's not that many in high grade, and I think Ichiro is one of those guys that remains, relevant. He's around the team. People love him. People, collect him. And he brings the Asian market in, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame in a couple of years. First ballot Hall of Famer. He started his career here, years after playing in Japan, and still had 3,000 hits here. Cool guy. When you
talk to me about BGS 10s. When and why did they become such a premium?
Just based on scarcity. The BGS 10 is a pristine card. It's one of those things where pristine is higher than gem mint, and people will say that PSA 10 is a gem mint card. A BGS 10 gold label, let alone the black labels, are pristine, so they are a notch higher. They are, you could say that it is very similar to like the eye appeal within grades.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That, PWCC and Mike Baker, those guys, they put eye appeal. You could argue that a BGS 10 is basically like finding a PSA 10 and putting an eye appeal sticker or putting an eye appeal designation on it.
Well, this is what you love to see. So the Kobe Topps rookie, the paper, is not a rare card, but it is a rare card when it's deemed a BGS 10. And what I love to see, and I actually think that these were recently graded for whatever reason. I don't know if there's a way to tell. Yep. These two were recently graded. You can see the serial numbers are back to back. And I typically don't love when the 9.5 is a corner grade. So I actually lean towards this one, which is the 9.5 is a centering. But you have 3 of these in this week's auction, and a really good opportunity. This is a dream opportunity. You get into a Kobe rookie at basically the lowest point in the market since he passed, right? Mm-hmm. And then you add the BGS 10 scarcity. These are going to go lower than the all-time high of even PSA 10s, and I bet PSA 9s. I imagine these go for $1,500 to $1,800, and there's 3, so you're getting competition out of the way. Take a look at
smart.
Those.
Smart
Second,
for a buyer.
Can I go second with a pristine? I want to hear your thoughts on this, and then we'll popcorn it back to you. It's just on the topic of pristine again. It's a gold label. Gold label by SGC. And it's a gorgeous card. It's a Duncan rookie gold label cage. It's sitting at $175. And this is one that I'm looking at buying myself. Shoot. 1 second, Cage.
Take your time. By the way, as you're looking, the SGC gold labels, boom. Take it from someone who has graded a lot of SGC cards, myself this year, and for our listeners. they're very hard to get. There are cards that I was like, oh man, this would be an SGC gold. People don't even realize these are out there. And for one of these metal cards to get it with the chipping and the edges that these have, that is, I feel very, very comfortable saying that this is the nicest one of these cards in existence. If SGC gave it their pristine gold.
And then, so you have the SGC pristine gold. On top of that, you have the review by Mike Baker. He gave it the black diamond. And this is his rookie card, part of what some people think is one of the most iconic base sets ever created, right? Sitting at $145. If you want to talk about Josh Giddey, you have a guy named Timmy Duncan here, who gold label, perfect condition, rookie card, iconic set, sitting at $145. Those are my two plays before I popcorn it back to you.
No, the SGC is nice. So I got a card that I think you would love, and I got a question for you on the card after that. So Panini 1-on-1 is your favorite. By the way, didn't get to talk about this for our episode that will air on Sunday, so I'll drop it now. Baseball. I was gonna have Ian come here.
Yes.
So
Strikes and
Ian
home runs.
come over.
You're right.
No, they so it's Panini 1 on football, and it's 1 and 1 because Panini 1 has one card. And on basketball, it's 1 and 1. It's one card and one card. So they give you a one, base card and one, autograph card. They did a baseball one.
Nice.
And it's called 3 and 2.
Very cool. Full count.
Yeah, 3 exactly. Full count. Well done. So they didn't call it full count. They called it 3 and 2. And we were. It's funny, man. A fun weekend. Lots of cool, fun. Baseball card stories. We were going to go to our haircut, and the line was too long, so we instead decided we were going to go to the card store, and we bought a box of those. We got a redemption. Panini do the right thing for us, but we got a redemption card. Soto Acuna dual auto.
Never getting it.
Redemption. I hope we get it. I hope we get it.
Wow.
I did not think that.
Is Acuna? So I love Soto, and maybe it's a good time for you to talk about it. If you go Tatis, Soto, Acuna, Bryce Harper, Trout in order, which ones you'd be buying and which one for next season?
Next season.
Is Acuna still relevant?
Yeah, next season Soto, maybe even Bryce. Bryce is tough because Bryce is injured. I don't know how much he's going to miss next season. Exactly, he's having surgery. Yeah, Bryce, he's having surgery. But yeah, we weren't going to open. By the way, we weren't going to open cards on Friday. I took Ian Thursday night to Target, and I was looking for Pokemon cards, and he said he wanted a Lego instead. Thursday night, bought this. He built it yesterday and today. Look at this thing. Okay, look at this.
He built that?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Look at this
in
thing.
one day.
Yeah, yesterday and today.
That's insane.
You have to shoot the thing out of its mouth. It's nuts. How many pieces? There's almost 3,000 pieces. I'm going to drop it. But yeah.
Does he not sleep?
He does. He wakes up and he does it. He stays up late at night and he just builds and he's building. It's from Mario. We play Mario Kart, so we saw this and we were like, all right, let's buy that. Okay, you can put it back on the thing.
Our sponsors are watching and they're like, double the rate now.
That's it. A little Lego.
Hard-hitting TV. Let me hit even harder. You guys have the Nat Turner special on this auction. The Nat Turner special coming to you guys live. It's the Michael Jordan Triumvirate. Did I say that right? Triumvirate?
Yeah.
Triumvirate. And you get 3 of them. One ending in 8 days. That's the PSA 10. Pop 1 of 9. I wonder if that changes. We shall see, good people. We have the luminescent version in a BGS 9.5 with a 9 surface grade. And then you have a PSA 9. So if you've been wanting to get in this card, like I have ever since I saw it all over Instagram, I was like, all the cool kids have it. I want to have it. Now's your opportunity.
So I did a tangent. I talked about Panini 1-on-1 and Panini 3 and 2 and buying that stuff for Ian and getting that duel. But the 1-on-1 that I think you would like on this auction, it's a LeBron Gold out of 10. So 2020 Panini 1-on-1. No, Panini 1-on-1. I started by saying this is the one you like, and it's gold. It's like a jersey match to his card. It's a LeBron. It's a PSA 10, 2020 1-on-1. Real nice looking card. One of these, like if it came out last year, it probably would have been in the premiere. And probably will sell for more than some of the cards that just sold in the premiere. But I know this is your favorite set. You think this set is going to be one of those iconic ones over time.
I talk about this?
Shoot,
Here's
please.
what I think is going to
You
happen.
want to put it up? It's not. You can if you can't. It's not a big deal. I know.
If it was up to me,
Mhm.
I would be buying as much 2019 instead of 2020, even the gold. Here's why. I think what's going to happen with this is what we saw happen with Prism. 2012 iconic. It catches fire. It has that collector base that 2012 Prism does. That's what Panini 1-in-1 is in 2019. And then you start seeing the printing. You start seeing more. And I think it's going to get diluted as we get to 2020 all the way till 2024, 25. I'm looking at cards like this, which is actually the base card, but it's the first year and all of them are numbered out of 99. Here's another one. LeBron Blue, PSA 9, but out of 25. I'd actually prefer this price tag to this gold because it's the second year.
There you go. Hard-hitting stuff from Captain 1-in-1. So soccer, that's your thing. I don't know soccer. I don't watch the games. Although somebody sent me a video today of somebody playing soccer and just bull rushing people, just Derrick Henrying
the girl.
And I was like, if this was what soccer was like, I'd watch this. Like if you're allowed to like tackle people, like run people over, and like I would watch that. So anyway, soccer. We all know about the 2004 Panini Mega Crack. You know more about crack than most. La Liga Lionel Messi card. It's his rookie. It's in BGS 9.5. We've seen this card. Take a look at that. There's other Messis in here. You don't have to pull it up, but my question for you is what happens to Messi prices if he wins, if he loses, if there's an early exit? You know, is it a situation where him winning this is already starting to be baked into the prices? Is it like LeBron winning the chip and his cards go down afterwards? Like, what's going to happen? Talk to me.
I think if Messi wins the World Cup, his prices go absurd. They go berserk. I think what happens with his prices is akin to what happened with Brady prices when he won.
Okay.
Brady didn't have the expectation baked in of him winning that championship.
He did not.
Saw a run. It's almost like it was so rare. I remember we talked about it where someone's potential performance wasn't priced in.
Right.
And when he won, his stuff went absolutely nuts.
It was like cementing him as a legend there. It was like, and it wasn't Belichick. And you'd think Messi, you know, everybody says Messi, Ronaldo, Messi. Like there is one or two, right? You know,
it could not come at a better time. Right now, Ronaldo's being crucified.
Yeah,
his mural's taking down from Man U. He's doing like a Piers Morgan interview. I've never seen maybe I have seen clubs tear down their superstar. Ronaldo, that's the thing. Ronaldo isn't remembered as the guy who built Manchester. It was Sir Alex Ferguson. It was Scholes. He came into a perfect situation and he was the young prodigy. Right now, Messi wins. It's the best time for his prices. But World Cup isn't championship, Cage.
No.
There's no guarantee that he wins. There's no guarantee that he plays well. There's no guarantee he even makes the semis. So it's going to be interesting. I do not think his prices are baked in. His winning the World Cup.
If he loses, though, does it come down a little?
No.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first, folks. I know his cards were a lot higher. This card was a lot higher. They're coming down into a zone where even I'm starting to look at them.
Very little risk. Very little risk.
Same, if you want to talk GOATs, guys, there's a 1962 Swedish record journal, Cassius Clay. That's Muhammad Ali before he was Muhammad Ali. In PSA 9, we call this a, quote, rookie card. There's the Hemit's journal from 1960. Then there's this in 62. Those are the first two that are out there. This is actually the front of a magazine. It's actually cut off of the front of the Swedish Record magazine. Cool card. Everybody knows it. If you're looking for one, this is, I believe, the highest graded example of this in PSA. So the PSA 9. Just an interesting one if you're a GOAT collector. Obviously, he is the GOAT. Go ahead.
Cage, 40K was how much the last LeBron refractor sold for, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PSA 10.
And maybe this isn't how you price. It's fine if not. What do you think the ratio, what do you think the Dwayne Wade refractor, same card, rookie year, should be? 10, just to clarify.
I mean, 4,000?
1,800 is the last sale, and there's one right now on auction, PSA 10 at $800, $900. Something to consider. We say get ahead of the curve. And right now, nobody's buying Dwayne Wade. But that's the nostalgia that's playing. And we love that word nostalgia. It's in every story, hashtag nostalgia, 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 nostalgia everywhere. Where I struggle to find a world in 2035, 2030, where Dwayne Wade isn't one of the top 20 athletes that people are buying.
He's a game show host.
So
Ian and I watched a game show the other day where he was the host. I was like, wow, that's Dwayne Wade. He's staying
accomplished, charismatic, good family, popular. I mean, he checks all the boxes. I just think he wasn't caught up in this previous run up for whatever reason. Maybe because he went to the Bulls. He wasn't fully retired, but he wasn't in his prime. The next run, if that's Fanatics or Spanatics or whomever, I think that demand will lead to Dwayne Wade. Second thing is 2003 Topps Chrome LeBrons. There's a boatload of his base in this auction. If you've ever wanted to get into it, 9s, 10s, BGS 9, 5s, this upgrade, that upgrade. There's a ton. So if you want, enjoy.
There's a lot. People are jumping off the ship with LeBron. I mean, that team is so bad. I mean, can they get Wembanyama next year, or that pick's already gone? They traded that pick away.
I was never a big pick guy because it's not guaranteed like in the NFL. So it's
random. But still, 100%. I just figure it's fun to talk about. If they would be so bad, imagine pairing that dude up with LeBron next year.
You know what would be fun to talk about? It's Kobe White. And this guy has not had a good career to start off, but he's had so much potential. He's a good shooter. He's a decent point guard. I don't think Chicago's the right spot for him. Chicago's kind of a mess. Lonzo's injured. Levine is so inconsistent. DeRozan, what does he do? What does he not do? Nurk, he didn't have a role. I think if Kobe White goes to a team like the Lakers.
You just want him there because his name is Kobe.
No. Kobe's spelled C-O-B-Y. He's closer to the Kobe that used to play soccer than basketball. But you have a one-of-one black, not like the Doug card, a one-of-one black rookie of this guy, $240.
Nice. Kobe Jones. You know I'm a Kobe White fan.
Are you?
Yeah. Man, that was the guy I used to buy in Top Shot. That was the guy I used to buy his prison breaks from out. It was Kobe White. I was like all about Kobe White, $2. I'm not paying $3, but I'll pay $2.
It's a guy you'll have an exit on. He's going to get moved eventually. He's got potential. He's a good shooter, UNC. I just don't think Chicago was the right spot for him. He goes to a veteran team. He could do some stuff for them. Be on the lookout. And $240 for the True Prism Black 1-of-1. Cade Cunningham went for what, like $150K? You're talking about $240 for a guy that's maybe 2-3 years older. Use your heads, guys.
So 2 more cards, and just I want to have conversations with you about these 2. One is a Tom Brady, and one is a Luka. Okay, the Luka, I'll tell you the card, and then my question for you as you're looking at the card is: am I overthinking it? People like what they like.
No,
they like specific cards, and they and okay.
So you confused.
So 2018 National Treasures, which sounds like the Luka you're going to want, right? So Luka Treasures, rookie patch auto out of 49. So we all saw in the the last auction, the premiere, Luka Logo Man selling for millions. The Luka, I think it was BGS 9, his true RPA out of 99 selling for, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here you have this one, and it is a horizontal, not a vertical. And look at what, from the same release,
why did they even put a horizontal? Like, we don't know what horizontal means. They had to put it in the title.
Rookie patch auto with a nice patch, but it's horizontal. And it's the same release. It's the same product. And this one is out of 49. There's half as many of these as the, quote, true RPA. Now, we've had conversations like this. Select is better. Optic is better. Like, buy Optic now because it's going to pass Prism. You try to make fetch happen. Is it wrong to try to make horizontal happen? And do you even have to make it happen when this thing is literally 1% of the price that a vertical National Treasures would be? 2% of the price. I'm not talking about half the price. This card is $5,000 instead of a vertical out of 99 that will be $500,000. What do you think?
I think this ends at 20. I think this ends closer to 20. I don't think this stays here, man. If I saw anything with this market, the Luka market is strong. The Luka market is strong and then extended as well. It's tough. Where do you think that card ends? Like, give me the number because it's not going to end at 5.
I saw it at 5. I was like, holy cow, that can't end.
Let's not buy it now. It's an auction cage, and there's a buyer's premium added. Do I need to go back and explain how buyers?
So that means it's at 6, right, with the buyer's premium. So I don't know what it ends at, but I mean, my job here is to look at the auctions and say, holy shit, this one looks pretty darn good here. You know what I mean?
Is it a buy over 50K?
No.
Is it a buy over 40K?
No.
Is it a buy over 30K?
I don't think so.
Is it a buy over 25K?
No.
Is it a buy over 15K?
Maybe.
15K. That's Cage's number. When you get a maybe.
Maybe.
Cage,
but the thing is, with this, look how many thousands of cards there are. Like you asked me what I spent 15K on. Look at this. You ready?
Yes.
There aren't RPAs of Brady because Brady was a nobody and flabby. And you've mentioned cards like this before. There's 02 ones, but this one's from 04, and it's not a jersey auto. And, it's sort of like the question you have with Kobe, right? Do you want one of these patch autos from Flawless? Do you want a rookie? What do you want? Topps had the Super Bowl MVP patches, but they have the ball, right? So now instead of having a game-used jersey of Brady, the 2004 Topps Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady ball patch auto, not his balls. It's a Super Bowl. It's like football, right? This is a PSA 8. It's a Super Bowl game-used football patch. All right? Brady's cards have been beaten to shit. Look at this card. Now, you've seen because he won a bunch of Super Bowls and he won a bunch of Super Bowl MVPs that there are different versions of this card in different years. But look at this card. Hand numbered. What do you think?
Here's what I'll guarantee you, Cage.
This won't sell for what it's at, and there's a buyer's premium. I know.
When people listen to our conversation on Giannis and employees, that same employee who was setting up the ladder, who was that responsible, that's the guy who gave Brady this pen to sign. That's the type of employees we're doing. If you use a pen like this, you give it to an athlete, you should be fired. You should be chastised. Sorry, it's a beautiful card.
Guys, we started off this episode today, and Andrew's like, we should do 2 episodes, split it up. We can have a conversational episode. And I'm like, no, let's just talk for a little while. We talk for 10 minutes, then we get into the cards. A half hour later, I think I called him a baby, but he definitely called me some names. I mean, there was a heated Andrew, and you're not gonna be able to hear it because you have to tune into tomorrow. It's a Sunday episode we're gonna release, and it's a fun one. So stay tuned for that. I started off with stories of hobby optimism, and Andrew, as has happened recently, he's seeing red. So if you enjoyed some of our recent episodes where Andrew got the better of me in these arguments, he did it again, folks. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. PWCC is a lot of fun, man. I enjoy doing these episodes. I do. There's a lot of good stuff now, and I mean, what I would close it with, and I hope you see this.
Roto Breaks actually commented, Cage just handed out a whooping.
In which one?
Oh, they always do. You could present them with logic. Hey, could these companies do more for the community? Yes, this is how they could do it. Cage is right. Businesses don't need anything. Milton Friedman to the moon.
Oh my God,
Milton Friedman autos.
He's gonna be happy, Sadie, that you got that you know about Milton Friedman. It's great, because. By the way, I said, hey, you want to read this Milton Friedman thing? He's like, I read Milton Friedman all the time. Andrew's a learned man. He's an educated individual. He reads a lot.
Well, I'm curious, but I will watch. They do like that with screw one, marry one.
Yes, I know this. Yes.
But let's do it. So that same thing, Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, Booker.
Okay, so we're going to call this, for this portion of the episode,
Buy,
we're going to
hold,
call this very well done, right? I mean, that's buy, hold, sell sounds like a much cleaner,
that
wholesome
means marriage
way.
is a hold, not a buy.
It's better than selling.
It is better than selling, but it's not better than buying, apparently.
Buy, hold, yeah, buy. So you can call it like flip, hold, and sell. Like buy short term, buy long term, sell. It's better. One's dating, one's marrying. Yeah,
yes,
whatever
Maximus.
I say.
Whatever you say, Maximus.
The sky is purple. And then you're like, oh, Cage is right, man. The other day, so the sky is purple. You are. That is you, by the way. I am Maximus, and you are the bad guy. You are. What's his name? I don't even know what his name is. Comicus?
Nobody knows what his name is.
Comitus. Yes. That's it.
Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, Booker. Buy, hold.
Okay. I am going to sell Booker because I'm not a fan of Booker. Booker's had more opportunity than most to get to the promised land and put it over the top and show that it's his team, and he hasn't done it. I am going to buy right now Donovan Mitchell. I think he's having a good season. I think he's playing well, and I think that team could actually make some noise and maybe sell him soon, like sell him like as they get into the playoffs. If they get like a first round, home field, home court playoff series, maybe sell then. And I'm going to hold Tatum. I think Tatum. I don't want to call him the MVP right now, but I think Tatum is on a very short list for MVP this year. And I think if you watch his game, I think he clearly is the best player on that team. I am guilty here of being one of the many people who promoted the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum 1A, 1B scenario, and that they're a similar player, and that Tatum is just slightly better. Tatum is working. You could see he's working. He's working on all facets of his game. His jumper is clean. It's wet. He looks good. He's playing good defense. You can see he's putting in the effort on his game. He has taken a leap that Jaylen Brown has not in his game, and an all-around game. And he looks like a leader out there on the court also. And they have some pieces around him that he could have some real success.
So people still think that the Cavs could make the Eastern Conference Finals. Some people think they could make the finals, right? It's not outlandish.
Yeah, no.
They lost 5 games in a row.
Yep.
So before you guys count out the Warriors, just keep in mind how long the season is. Keep that in mind, because a lot of people get very into this, like 15 games. It's like, nah.
We have 80% of the season left. I mean, it's basically like counting out, a football team after week 3. You could say it's going to be a tough climb, but there's still 14 games left. So.
Any final cards before we rock?
No, we did a bunch of them. There's another Brady. Here's one that I liked. I was going to bid on this, so I won't now. Now that I tell you guys about it.
You're allowed to bid on stuff that we.
Yeah, but not ones that I tell people about. I don't want to be, because if somebody hears about it on the show and says, "Oh, you know what? He's right. That's a good idea," then one of our listeners is bidding on it, and I don't need one of our listeners to have to outbid me. I have endless pockets. So the 2000 the 2000 playoff contenders.
Okay, go ahead. Fine.
So we've seen the championship ticket one that's out of 100 sell for a ton of money. Even one sold recently for not that much because it was creased right down the middle in the premier auction that didn't sell for a lot. It was like really
what
bad
card?
shape.
Say the card name again. I'm not
the 2000 contenders, his rookie contenders auto. But the champ ticket out of 100 is one that's sold for millions of dollars before. That's an expensive one. But the other versions of the card, the rookie auto versions, they're not numbered out of 100. They look the same. They're very similar cards, right? So he's got a non-numbered one here. And this is one of those where you asked a question about a week and a half ago to have me tell you a couple cards that the grade doesn't matter on, that people just want to get into that card, that it's okay for them to get into the card. And there are Brady fans out there who would just love to own his Contenders rookie auto. Well, I think this one, if you pull it up, you can see it, because I don't know what the price is at. It's a 2000 playoff Contenders Brady rookie auto. And why I ask you to pull it up is because I don't know what it's at, but it is in a PSA 4.
Interesting.
So it's slabbed, it's graded, it's graded a 4. They didn't go the authentic route. They went with the 4. So because of that, I think the card is priced significantly lower than it would have otherwise been. But it's telling a Brady fan out there, now look, it's not cheap. It's at $7,500 right now. I mean, it still is basically a $10,000 card with buyer's premium and the like, and may go for more than that when the bids are all done. But
do you know why it got a 4 cage?
No, I mean, I couldn't tell. I mean, it's in the description. I don't know if there's a crease on it. I don't know what the story is. And also there's no auto grade, and the auto's not, perfect on it either. But this is one of those cards where, like, it's an iconic card. Everybody knows this card, especially because of the out of 100 champ ticket that sells for so much money. It's the same, just regular autographed version of his card, and it's graded a 4. Usually a 4 is going to have a crease in it. It's going to have something going on.
I'm looking for a finger mark, a fingernail mark, or like the surface gets stuck. Is that what? Anyway, I'm not going to do that live on the air. Yeah. I'm captivated. This is a buy in my book. This is as much of a buy as.
So I was going to buy this. Now I'm not going to bid because it's one of our guys. If you're listening to this and you pick this one up, let us know, because these are the kind of things that are in the weekly auction. That there's so many cards you might not have noticed this one. You know what I mean? And it is an iconic Brady card. It's one of those things that I know there are Brady collectors out there who would love to have this card in their collection and won't be scared away by the 4 and might be able to get this card in their PC now for a price they otherwise wouldn't have gotten it for. But these cards are down, and this is a 4.
So, guys, some alpha. I mean, there's alpha this whole entire episode, but I love 1996 Flair Showcase. For whatever reason, there are 5 Jordan Row Zeros in different grades and 5 Kobe Row Zero in different grades in this auction. So a real opportunity to pick up what's I think is one of the more iconic sets. Kobe's rookie year. Row Zero is the most rare. Take a look at that. Both Jordan and Kobe, 5 of them in this auction. No way you can keep up with the demand. There's 2 Skybox EX 2000 net assets cage. Like, it's kind of a pamphlet card, but people don't realize it because it's graded, right?
Nope.
But it's actually a card that opens. It's a really interesting card. There's 2 of them. There's a BGS 9.5 Jordan and a BGS 10 Jordan, PSA 10 Jordan to take a look at. There's a select 2021 Mike Trout color wheel card. That's a case hit. It's a really nice looking card, but it's not licensed. It's baseball, so it's not going to be a lot, but it's $280 PSA 10. That's another episode. Anything else for you? Any other cards we didn't mention? I mean, there's tons, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen. So one of the things that PWCC is expanding on, and I might as well mention it on here also because it's a bargain. It reminds me a lot of that Brady. In the comic world, they restore cards. They restore comics. They don't get Kurt's card care and kind of do it on a sneak. They restore it, and then when they're graded, the label actually says that it is restored. It actually says what it is. So there is a Spider-Man 1 in this auction, graded CGC 6, which would be a 5-figure book, high 5-figure books, maybe even more. It's restored. And obviously, the restoration on it, it takes the value down. You know that it's restored. It's not in its original condition. But it says it right there. Restored copies have a purple label across the slab. There is a different label for autographed copies also, and then there's a different label for non-restored.
Is it original?
It's the original. It's 100%. It's original.
No, but is it
this one's restored. This one's
restored and original. What's a non-restored?
So no. It just says comic. It just it says this is a Spider-Man #1 unrestored. It just it won't even say anything about it. The restoration will say restored. So it doesn't say like on there like to be restored. It just says the comic like a regular card would. There's a couple of Honus Wagners that are restored that say restored right on the slab also. They just don't have a different color slab and that kind of stuff. Professionally restored. This has been restored to this level to a CGC 6. So, basically they fix it. They clean it. They, sometimes they can add paper to it. They can do all kinds of crazy stuff. This is one of those where, if you're into comics, if you're looking for comics, you can get this one at a significant, this is not even at $2,000 right now. Spider-Man 1, this dates back to 1963. So we're talking about something that's, basically a 60-year-old book. And, Spider-Man that's the iconic book. It's the one that folks want. It's a, really cool piece. I was looking at this one for my own. I don't have too many comics, and I don't have any restored comics. As a card nerd, it's just one of the things that I haven't, leaned into. But I know this book would be, 50 times this if it wasn't restored. Yeah, this is an expensive comic book. So this is a nice book. So if that's your thing, I know PWCC is starting to do comics. This might be a bargain just because a lot of people aren't looking for comics on PWCC just yet. I'm sure that will change.
Is that another episode? Any final words?
No, dude, enjoy the hobby. That's my final word. It's gonna be, you making the hobby great again. That's what you say. Making the hobby fun again. So
I think someone else said that on the internet. It was pretty funny.
Make the hobby great again.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, man. There's so much good shit, man. Go open a pack of cards. Go watch a show. Go watch. You don't necessarily have to watch a documentary that you have to pay for that really probably doesn't portray the hobby in the way that it actually is. Come watch our Whatnot show tomorrow. We're doing football picks, 11 o'clock. We'll do a picks and plays against the spread. I do props. I'll have that all researched up for you. It's fun. Maybe Andrew will show up with a bananas play for you guys. Those are always the highlight of the show.
Dude, I said the Vikings are going to beat the Bills last week.
You did. You said the Vikings were going to beat the Bills. That was a big play. I also,
another
I mean,
episode.
we didn't do Thursday, but I told Andrew that if he, I know he's not a sports bettor, but if he wants to bet his entire mortgage, that the Titans were going to put a butt whooping on the Packers and cover, and they won by 10 on Thursday. We should have no mortgages anymore, me and you.
Bye, Luca Nation. We love you. So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.